Don't worry, I'm not naked. I'm just wearing some shirt. But even if I was naked, you can see my boobies because I don't have ones. Okay, moving on. Welcome last to my YouTube channel. My name is VassaOlga. In today's video, we're going to be doing a Sagittarius inspired makeup look. It's not even a Sagittarius, it's like Scorpio season, and thank God I'm not Scorpio. I know if you're Scorpio, if you have really good connection to Scorpios, that's one thing, I don't mind, but like I'm a Sagittarius, I'm a fiery sign, and I'm not really good with Scorpios. And by the way, this is a mark from my husband. I'm gonna kill him for that. And yeah, let me get started with my makeup and let's talk a little bit about Sagittarius and about the energy we have. Sagittarius is my sun's and my rising sun is Cancer. That's why there's always gonna be a difference. You can be a Sagittarius and you can be, I don't know, maybe Aries rising. So it's gonna be pretty hot right there if you're this type of combination. I'm gonna start off with my eyes today because like Sagittarius is a fire sign. That's why I'm gonna be doing very colorful makeup look. Most of the colors are gonna be red. I guess you can tell that. So we're gonna be using today colors like Leo or maybe a little bit of Vivo, Pumpkin, Catrice, something like this, something crazy, vibrant, hot, and you know, just like red. Okay, I'm gonna get started and I'm gonna prime my lid with NYX primer. This is my ultimate favorite primer. I purchased some new powder and it's crazy. It's so freaking pretty. I'm gonna set my lids with Spud shade. This is something that I do every single time because they're not super sticky. And if you have sticky lids and you start with really bright colors, it's gonna look like a huge spot and it's really hard to blend this out. That's why we're gonna just start with patting some transition color. I'm gonna start from my lash line and going up to my brows. I don't really wanna do my brows first because I feel like it's gonna wipe off a lot of my brow pencil. That's why we're just going to be using a little bit of colors and then we're gonna see where it gets us to. The shade that I'm going to is gonna be probably a little bit of every cloud. This is gonna be my first shade and it's gonna be placed in the inner corner and in the outer corner, and I'll try to keep it really close to my lash line. I have my friends, and it's really weird to tell you guys, but most of my friends are Aries. So I'm really good with Aries. I do feel like we have the same connection if we are talking about like women Aries. As like men, my dad is Aries. He's a little bit, let's say, he's not strange, but it's a little bit harder to find some connection with this person because men Aries, they're a little bit different and they're a little bit hard to like, their jokes are a little bit weird. As Robert Downey Jr., if I'm mistaken, Robert Downey Jr., like you can tell that he has a little bit different sense of humor as like other people. So it's not bad, but it's something that you should keep in mind when you talk to Aries, like men Aries, as well as Sagittarius. I would say that I would definitely separate and create like two different groups for people like men Sagittarius and women Sagittarius. Sagittarius or Aries, I guess it works for every single sign that men are different and women are different, and it doesn't really matter what's that. It's just like if you try to judge someone like Gemini women, they're definitely going to be absolutely different from Gemini men. Of course, they're gonna have some similarities, but I've noticed a huge difference between men and women. I'm going to a little bit different color. This is Vivo or Catrice. Let's start with Catrice because it's a little bit darker and I love this cranberry vibes. I'm gonna grab my pointy brush. This one is crease brush, but we're gonna start small and just bring the color higher and higher. I'm gonna place it on top of my previous shade, kind of like tap that first, and then with the same brush, we're gonna start blending this out. As for men Sagittarius, I remember I had a teacher and it was a little bit flirty. He wasn't my teacher, he was sort of my mentor, and we had like 6 years difference. I was almost 20, he was almost 26. I was born on 15th of December, he was born on 14th, I guess, of December. So it was like a day before my birthday. We hit it off. I remember talking to him and I was so inspired. It was like instant connection. Honestly, I don't know how to explain that, but it worked for us. I told my husband that I had some, you know, just like I never had any feelings to this guy, but I remember that it was just something inside that like, oh my God, I guess I found some person who can get me right away. Let's call him mentor. And when I talked to my mentor, he was like, okay, so talking about something. I was like, yeah, it's utopia, and we were discussing some utopia, and he was like, oh my god, just stay here. He grabs a book out of his bag and he's showing me like utopia, and he's like, I'm reading this right now. I'm like, oh my god, it's like insane. So we could talk literally for hours, and he felt so comfortable with me instead of my like group mate, because like they didn't talk at all. We talked all the time, and I remember like, but I don't really think that we would hit it off as a couple, because yeah, it's so cool to talk to someone who's getting you and who understands you, but at the same time, I guess we were too fiery signs, and it's too much, like it's too much energy going on. That's why I need a person in my life who would calm me down. I mean, like, I love my mom, and I'm sure that she loves me, but like when it's too much time with her and with me, we start fighting. Not like something crazy, not always, but still we have this, you know, miscommunication, let's say, which is okay. I mean, like, my mom, she's very opinionated, and I am opinionated as well. That's why we have this type of fights, but still I have lots of my friends who are Aries, and I feel comfortable in month Aries, and I'm not really sure that I'm really good with Leos. I don't know why, but most of the time it's like Aries. Leos are too demanding, and Leos are always like, just, we're gonna do it my way, or we're not doing this. And I'm like, yeah, we're not doing this. That's it. Though my brother is a Leo, and yeah, it's a little bit hard for me to talk to him from time to time. And on this note, we're going to Leo. Then I'll tell you that it's really, I mean, I saw this information that lots of Sagittarius, they're really good with Leos and Aries, not as partners, and I was a little bit surprised, because I'm not really good with any kind of Leos, especially not even as a partner, but as a person who would probably be considered as my friend. Though I did have a friend of mine, we were hanging out, but at the same time another person, significant person in our trio group, was my best friend. She's Aries, so we were like a Sag, Leo, and Aries, and we literally had the best time at school. But like I said earlier, I don't really think that Leos are the best partners for Sagittarius, especially like in my case. My husband, he's Pisces, and he's Pisces, but his rising sign is actually Leo, and my rising sign is Cancer. So that's why, probably that is the reason why we could hit it off, because as a couple, he's like more down to earth, and I'm like more always having some plans, and you know, just like my thoughts are chaotic all the time, and he's like, just stop, let's process this information first. And I guess that is the main reason why we found each other, and we have this great balance, because most of this time people are like, oh, he's a Sag, then I'm not gonna date him. Either he's a great Sag and you can like be really good friends with this person, because I did have a couple of guys, Sagittarius, they were fine, they were great to talk to, it was just nice. But sometimes I actually had some information like from people like Sagittarius are the worst men. And I literally was talking to my husband, and he was talking about this guy. He was a Sagittarius, he's still a Sagittarius, and he was saying some shit like about every single person. He was starting these fights every single time, and I was like, okay, that's absolutely different. That's absolutely different from a person that I talk to and a person that you're describing to me, but just it doesn't sound like a Sagittarius. So there's like two different types of men, Sagittarius. Some of them are reasonable and fine and really funny to talk to, and some of them are crazy. I'm like literally crazy. My worst, I'd say, problem that I tell people a lot of the truth. And my mom, she's like, you don't have to tell people all the time the truth. I'm like, yeah, I know it, but I can't help it. I try to keep it to myself, but you know, it's just like I need to tell my truth sometimes. That's probably something that I have to work on. And I'm using the color Strawberry Bonbon, and before that I used Tutti Frutti. So I switched to a little bit different palette. This one is from Beauty Day. And I started this video by saying that, you know, I'm not really good with Scorpios. And yeah, I know that not lots of people are good with Scorpios, especially I talked to my husband and I asked him like, what is the sign that you're not feeling comfortable with? And he said like Scorpios, definitely. This is going to be my first answer. I'm not saying that every single Scorpio is bad. My grandma is a Scorpio. She can be tough. I'd say that she has her own energy and it's a little bit intense. I'd say that some people can hit it off easily with a Scorpio. I can't. I mean, like, we're two different people, two different planets, and two different signs. Like, she's water, I'm fire. And I used to have some colleagues that were Scorpios, and they're still Scorpios, but it wasn't working for us. I don't know why, but I felt like they were trying to control me, and that's something that I hate. As a Sagittarius, as a person, like, I hate when someone is controlling me, especially when I was doing some work and she was literally standing behind my back like that, and she was watching my move. I was furious, and I hate when someone is literally standing behind me and controlling my every single step, and I don't really understand. She wasn't my boss or anything, she was my colleague, and I was like, okay, so why you're sitting there? And at first I was quiet, I didn't really want to bring this up, but I was so tired of like this person constantly watching my back. So I was like, do you want something from me? Like, do you have anything to say? Something? She was like, no, I'm just watching. And then she left. And this is the thing about my grandma. She does pretty much similar thing. She's watching you, and she's watching how you're working, and she's not helping. This is the worst thing. They're not helping. They're just watching and staring at you. Like, what are you doing? Like, either you're here and helping, or you're out of here. I don't understand this control freak behavior. Another thing that I'm gonna say that probably I'm not really good with Geminis. Just as the second sign that I'm not really good with. And again, it's not something that I'd say, oh, these signs are horrible. No, it's something that just like I can't find anything relatable. I'd say like we have absolutely different vibes. We just like we're not connecting at some point. Okay, we're almost done with my eye. I love how bright it turned out, and it's really fiery and crazy at the same time. So I'm going over with the same colors that I've placed, and then I'll just switch to a little bit of cleaning underneath my eyes. I am a little bit shocked because I don't really have lots of fallouts. Probably none of this fallouts, and I will then switch to my brow, and then I'll do some highlighter, I guess, around my brow bone. I'd say that lots of people would say, oh, I'm really bad with Capricorns, and I do really know this joke, this private joke about Capricorns and Facebook page for someone who needs help after dating a Capricorn, something like that. I'd say my cousin is a Capricorn. All my childhood, we were fighting. We were like best friends, but another second, we were literally fighting with fists, with apples, with, I don't know, pillows, all of it. It was just all or nothing. So I can't say that I'm bad with Capricorns. I'd say if you do some things their way, then they're happy and they're like the cutest people in the world. But if you're doing something the wrong way and they disagree with you, they're gonna fight and they're gonna just like stand their ground. I am a little bit different. If it's not something important to me, I would probably let it go. I'm not a person like, oh, we're gonna start the fight because we want to fight. It's more like, okay, I don't care. If it's so important to you, then fine. But if it's important to me, and this person is saying that it's just like, oh, it's complete bullshit or something like that, no, then we're gonna fight. And I'm not gonna leave. Just leave. No. It's a little bit hard for me to find some connection to is Aquarius. I guess these are three top signs that a little bit hard for me to find any sort of connection. These are Aquarius, and I'd say Gemini and Scorpio, but it's like a little bit reverse order. It's Scorpio, Gemini, and Aquarius. I love Pisces as men. I'd say that I don't really have friends as women Pisces, but as men, Pisces are really good. I'm like, they're in my heart, and I find really great connection with them. My husband, my cousin's husband, he's Pisces. He's a great guy. I love him so much. They have great sense of humor. I love that a lot. But again, rising sign is really important because there's a huge difference between my husband as a rising sign Leo and my cousin's husband whose rising sign is Capricorn. That's why probably they found this balance because she's a Capricorn and he has a rising sign in Capricorn. That's probably something between them. I have no idea how it works, but it works. I'd say that I would do probably some liner and no, you know what? Let's do a little bit of gold. Why not? I'm gonna use my finger and then just pat it from the same palette and then bring it in the center of the lid. I'd say that, why not? Of course, not every single Sagittarius is the same. I'm using my moisturizer. I know one girl, she has rising sign Aries, and she would literally start fights with people, and especially with her husband. She was fighting her husband. She actually broke a cup over his head. like crazy. I'm not that crazy. I wouldn't start like a real fight. Was it when I was a kid? I was literally fighting guys, but we were kids and just a little bit different type of thing. Like when you're grown up, you have to control your actions. Right now, she's much better because her husband, he's earning money and she's staying home. She prefers it this way, and she knows that if she does something crazy, then they're probably just gonna divorce and she would need to go and find a job so she can control herself when she needs to. Definitely, of course, some Sagittarius energy is similar. I'll go over with my sunscreen and my primer. Well, I can't deny the fact that I am very emotional, and sometimes my husband tells me, like, why are you speaking that loud? We're alone in the room. And I'm like, because I'm emotional. And this is probably a common thing among Sagittariuses, but it's funny to say about this girl about like the rising sign in Aries and fights with her husband. Her husband is a Sag as well, with rising in Cancer as I am, and he loves staying home. And she was actually cheating a lot while they were dating. And when she went to some guy while they were dating, and that's another thing that is really popular among Sagittarius signs, is that everyone thinks that if you're a Sagittarius, then you need some freedom, and then you would cheat. I know that probably that's true. I don't know. I've never cheated in my whole life. Of course, I'm not going to say this on camera. You'd say, no, I really did not cheat. I'm using my Mousse foundation. This one's from Essence, but I can totally agree that freedom for Sagittarius is really important. I quit my job and focused on my social media and I'd say my channel, because my previous working place was like I had to work and do some things that I could disagree on. A quick story to tell you guys. I'm using my Essence Skin Lovin Sensitive Concealer for my under eye area. I had to find some information about certain stuff. They wanted to buy some new stuff for the office, like telephone, renew some telephone, computers and whatever, and I knew that we didn't have money for that and that they wouldn't probably buy anything. And then they asked me to do the same thing for a little bit different country. So they wanted to open another office in another country, and I had to check out the prices like in my country, and it was like, it's a little bit crazy and stupid because their country, they have their own prices. I have to go there, or someone has to be hired right there and kind of like purchase this from their location. And I remember I literally wasted, I don't know, 4 maybe hours, because they had a whole list of things and products they wanted to sort of purchase. And when I was done, I gave it to them and I said, okay, so when are we going to be purchasing them? And they said, we're not going to do that. The head office asks to do this stuff every single year. We don't have spare money to buy some new products. It's just for some statistics. Do I need to tell anything else? I'll add to that my L.A.Girl Pro Concealer over my forehead, nose, my chin, and a little bit on the sides. Nothing crazy, and I'm going to use my brush. I know for sure that my friend, she would be someone like, oh, if someone is toxic, I'm going to stick to this person until I'm super done with that. I'm a little bit different. I'm not going to wait and sit around when someone is using me and I don't feel comfortable. Just, I'm going to give them slack one time, second time, we're done. I have a friend of mine, she'd been dating a Scorpio, and turned out that he had so much Sagittarius energy in his horoscope among Scorpio that he wasn't a Scorpio, he was mostly Sagittarius, and she couldn't like date him anymore. That's why they broke up. I'm using some fixing spray, and of course I forgot that I used my mascara on top. That's why it might leave some marks. But we're gonna work with a beauty blender. I'm gonna use my Catrice powder. This one is so good. Control and Shine. Okay, let's bronze with my contour palette. This one is from Wet n Wild. That's why it's really hard to tell if like you're gonna work out this with this person or that person. You have to try out first, but it's really hard for me to tell you like, oh, you're a Sag, he's a Scorpio, then just it's not gonna work out for you. Maybe it is gonna work out for you if they have rising signs, if they have some other astrological purposes. I mean, I did go to an astrologist and she told me that I would get a job like from 16th of October to 31st of October. Like, long story short, it happened 4 years ago. She told me this information about 3 years ago, and that I would get this job, and I didn't get any job during this period of time. And in a year, exactly this time, and everyone that I talked to told me that it works this way, especially like if we're talking about this astrologist, that lots of the time when she predicts some information, it happens in a year. And if she tells you that it's going to happen in 2 years, then it's going to happen in 3 years. I don't know how it works. So she told me that I'm going to find this job, and a year later, I got a phone call on, it was 16, 15, 14, on 13th of October, and I got a job interview on 16th of October, and I got a job, and they told me that they're going to process my documents, they're going to be processing my documents for 2 weeks, and I would need to go to work on the 1st of November, the same dates she told me. I mean, how crazy is that? It's literally crazy, and you might not believe it. My husband, he didn't believe it, but when it really happened, these dates, he said like, okay, I'm scared. Okay, I'll finish the rest with my blush, a little bit of highlighter, and then some spray. Then I'll do my brows, and we're gonna conclude the video. I want to do a little bit crazy combination of colors for my lips. I'm gonna use the color, I don't even know, it's like cranberry shade, and it's probably gonna go well with my eye color. You know what? I was thinking about this lip gloss. I don't know, how should I do that? Probably a tiniest bit in the center of the lip. Yeah, that was a nice decision. Really pretty, really glossy. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's inspired makeup look. It is definitely my Sagittarius sign, which is going to be super, 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 super soon. Hopefully, Sagittarius season. Love you guys, and I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye-bye.